It's that little gay talk show with your host, Mr. Joel Tatum and Miss Pinky. That little gay talk show. Turtle power. You know, I really
Yeah, is that turtle power?
I know.
Really?
Every time I hear it, I'm like, why did I say turtle power?
Turtle power. Mutant Ninja.
I know.
Joel.
Good. You know, my TMNT, you know.
Half the time I think of that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, me
The other
too.
half of the time I think of Master of Disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus.
And, and
Mr.
Pistachio playing the turtle and trying to get into the
You know
turtle
what
club.
turtle?
You know what?
Turtle power
Mhm.
kind of. You're uncut, right?
Who?
You.
No, I'm cut.
Oh, you're cut.
Mm-hmm.
You're cut too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So turtle power usually.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're not touching
I'm like,
it.
wait,
We're not
what?
touching-
Why?
Okay, we're not going there. But turtle power reminds me of
Mm-hmm.
there being foreskin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's true. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes it does look a little bit like.
Mm-hmm. I think back in the day they used to call it an army helmet.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, it used to be
I
called
think
an
it still
army
has
helmet.
the helmet,
Yeah, I think it still has a helmet.
but it's like
and-
turtleneck is the
yeah, turtleneck. I
Yeah,
think is
because
the
if you
current
actually
term.
see a turtle
aardvark.
and his head actually coming out of his shell, it does look just like a penis.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Kind of.
You know they had these.
So that's why I'm like turtle.
Not very many
what the
penises
fuck?
I've seen,
Mhm.
but
you know they had these.
Not the actual head of the penis, but the shaft of the penis. It looks
Fair
something
enough.
like that.
wrinkly skin.
Wrinkly
Mhm.
skin.
Hey, welcome
Where?
welcome to the show. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Once again, as always, we always start with the subject on penises.
It always goes back
It
there.
always
always
goes
did,
back to the
yeah.
penis. Always does.
I wonder why.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm Joel. I'm sitting at the table with Miss Pinky and
Hey.
Besitos.
Hola.
Mm-hmm.
Aquí estoy.
Mm-hmm.
Siempre.
Last couple of shows, it's just been the three of us.
Just the
Mhm.
three of
Mhm.
us. You, me, and I.
Okay, here we go. Singing the words wrong again.
It's you and
We can-
It's you, him, and I. I got it.
We can make it if you try.
We can
Just
make
the
it.
Two of us,
Just the
or the
two
three of us.
Right,
in
just
this
the three of us.
Mhm.
You,
Just the
him,
three of
and
us.
I.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of you and I.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
But you sing it in the
We
right.
can
Yeah.
make
Sing it in the
if we
right
try.
tempo.
Just
It's
the three of us.
You, him,
Him
and
and
I. Thank you.
There you
I
go.
was deliberately
we can
singing
make
the
our own
words wrong.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
We just twist the lyrics.
We're
Mhm.
we're
We got
looking
it.
we're testing out theories for our new theme song.
Yes. This is turtle power. Do, 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 do. Turtle power.
You know, speaking of which, they had I read this little thing on the internet where they had all these fish that washed up in California, and they're actually not fish; they're like sea worms. Unfortunately, they look like uncut penises. I mean, it's just a picture full of uncut white penises, and I'm like, wow, I did not. That's weird.
Did that make you
It's like
thirsty?
The
No, it didn't make me thirsty. It was just weird. Could you imagine walking down the beach and
right.
there they are?
Hey, for a thirsty somebody.
It's like
That's
the
heaven.
graduating class
Mhm.
of unique,
Mm-hmm.
college 2019, right
And
there.
What was
Mhm.
that called? Wash fishes in California?
I think so. Oh, he's gonna look it up.
Say
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Mhm, he's gonna
Limp
look it
Dick
up.
Beach, I think they
Mhm.
renamed it.
They should rename it Limp Dick Beach. But the thing is that I feel bad because, like I said, they're all white. You don't want
what a waste.
all that white limp worms on the beach.
Right? All just laying around. It's like, well, those are
Mhm.
perfectly average looking
Oh
worms.
my God, George, you are right.
Yeah, they look. I'm telling you, they look exactly like
These
uncut
fuckers look
penises.
just like
Let me
Mhm.
see.
And they're like,
no, but I've seen because
Mhm.
I have a thing for white guys, and
mm-hmm,
it definitely does not. But oh shit,
mm-hmm,
I don't know if that looks like that.
mm-hmm.
That one in the picture looks kind of cut.
no, it looks kind of one ball and
Mhm.
and no. Look
It-
at this. This
Mhm.
does look uncut.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the
Mhm.
mixture is odd. Some of them do look cut.
Mm-hmm.
This is a worm. It does look
It-
like a penis.
Yeah, it does. It looks exactly
Oh,
like
but
a penis.
look, there's purplish ones.
Oh, thank goodness. There's hope out there.
Mhm.
There's hope.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of. Okay,
Oh,
I don't
oh.
know if this is a little gross.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're just animals, creatures, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people that are so happy just grabbing them. This is crazy.
I don't.
Lots of pictures of them in people's hands.
People's hands.
Like, I would not pick one.
I
of those
would
things.
not.
I would
Why
not
would you?
touch this.
Why are people just randomly picking up?
Not with my bare hand anyway. I'd want to. I
Yeah, I would
want to check
pour
the
blood.
consistency of it,
Yeah,
maybe,
exactly.
and see like does it seem like
Because you don't know if these
feel of
things
it.
will. I know that, like, for
it's like
example,
something killed them.
If the blue octopus,
Mm-hmm.
if you let it touch you,
Yeah,
you'll die.
you'll die. I don't
Right.
understand why people just
Oh,
random.
by the way, yesterday I went to
Mm-hmm.
this restaurant. It's kind of Italian theme, Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Warehouse 72 on the Marquee.
Oh, I heard of that.
I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really nice place. Actually, you can actually do like Christmas parties or just parties because it has like 3 different sections.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really nice. And for the first time, I actually had octopus.
Mm-hmm.
I've had
Calamari?
No. I've had
Okay.
calamari before. I've had squid before, but this is the actual
The actual octopus.
Yeah. Oh my god, that thing was so good. It was good.
You said
am not
warehouse.
a.
Warehouse 72.
Warehouse 72.
72.
In the
I
Marquee.
am
the
not
Marquee.
a fan of squid or octopus. It's a consistency thing. I just
Well, no, but let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I know that they're usually very rubbery, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
This one's
cooked
not.
improperly. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
5 seconds.
Well,
or-
that's true.
It's like
Yeah.
5 seconds or 5 hours, I think, is the rule when you're cooking squid or octopus.
Now, for octopus, I've heard before that right before you kill them, you're supposed to scare them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they don't. They're not rubbery.
Well, you make
But-
them ink, and
right.
it tenses the muscles,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and so they're not like
Okay.
in a flaccid like
There you
jelly
go.
state.
Right.
So if you think of like what happens to you before you
Yeah.
expel your bowels, like you ink.
Now, talking about that shit, were y'all ever? Because I've always been tempted, and of course, we tried all sorts of animals.
Mm-hmm.
But what if one day somebody were to serve you, and I think there's a place in the world where they do serve you, human meat.
Nope.
Would y'all not try
Nope.
it?
No.
I am actually tempted.
I would get on a plane, and go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
No, thank you.
Because what makes you think
What-
that you're
what
safe
is-
in that situation?
What is human meat, by the way? What are we talking?
Muscle.
Why?
Cannibalism.
Well, it is cannibalism, but think about this. You kill the cow, and of course, what you eat is muscle,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
which is the protein.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In a human being, it is the same thing. There are places where the muscle concentrates, and that's the meat. So,
We are not endorsing cannibalism.
no,
on
I
this.
am not endorsing it. I'm just saying that I would be
We're
tempted
gonna have
to
to cut
try
that.
it, just like I try everything else.
I don't know that anywhere in the world there is.
There is.
Allowed.
There is.
Yeah, they may do it. It's not allowed though. I don't think.
No, I think it's allowed. I can't remember the place,
I don't
but
want.
I've
The,
heard of it.
the
Okay,
hills, that place where the
how-
hills have eyes.
How large of a population are we talking? Because the
I
smaller
have-
the
I have-
population,
again,
the
I
more
have no idea.
A
likely.
shrinking
I heard-
population.
I
A
heard-
very shrinking population,
I
obviously.
heard about it, and I was like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like making, because I remember when my sister had the surgery, she had the gastric bypass. There was so much skin that I remember she started making jokes about, I should make purses and stuff
Oh,
out
Lord.
of my,
Oh my
out of my
God.
skin. Because at the end of the day, it's leather. Where does the leather come from?
It's
Well,
hide.
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah, it's
I don't know
hide.
that it's not leather.
It's not. It's hide. But no.
well, regardless.
Yeah. That's.
But
yeah.
that's an interesting topic to
Mhm.
have. Not that
I thought you were going to say something like dog or cat or
If
something.
if
I
Anthony
never would think.
Bourdain,
Mm-hmm.
if Anthony Bourdain couldn't find somewhere they were serving human flesh in all the places,
Then I'm not gonna eat
he's
there.
been.
Mhm.
Well, I'm just
Mhm.
saying if he hadn't found it in all the places he tried and the
Mhm.
foods that he tried, I'd say it's pretty effing hard. He went for some weird shit,
Mm-hmm.
and so is that
because I'm
other
one
guy.
of those people
the
that,
bug
that
guy.
if I'll
I think
try
Anthony Bourdain would have tried it.
because I
if it
haven't
was out
tried
there.
snake yet, and I want to try snake. I've done.
Oh, I've had snake.
I've had
But all you have to
crickets.
if you
Had
want to
crickets
try
before.
snake, you just have to go to northern Texas for that. They do that all the
Oh
time.
yeah, they have it here, even in Louisiana too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I haven't done buffalo meat yet. I've done all sorts of deer,
Girl, you haven't
but
done
not buffalo.
meat?
I haven't done gator either.
Mhm.
And I
We
wanna
had
try
gator at the restaurant.
Have you
not
guys
too
ever
long
had
ago.
marrow?
marrow?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Bone marrow?
Oh, from what animal?
From
I think it was venison when I tried it.
Oh, you can make a soup out of that. I heard
Right.
Yeah.
But this is
Oh.
they just use that.
You're
as
talking about the
flavoring.
little thing in between
the soft tissue between the
soft
bones.
tissue. Oh, I do that all the time.
inside
That's part
the
of
bone.
that's part of menudo and
Yeah, exactly.
and all these other.
Do they use marrow for that?
Yeah, they use marrow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Or the feet of the actual animal, you cut it in pieces and the stuff right in the middle, the gooey thing. That's really good.
Not cartilage.
No, not cartilage.
The actual,
This is right inside of the bone. Yeah, the gooey whatever. Oh yeah, we do that all the time.
So I had that at the sanctuary in Minneapolis. A few years ago.
Oh, you have to go that far.
It was served on the bone, so like they cut the shank like.
Oh, they cut it
the bone,
halfway.
and so they
excuse me.
created this sliver, and you eat it right out of the bone. But
Okay.
if anyone out there, listener or otherwise, is ever in Minneapolis,
actually in I guess Hispanic culture, mainly Mexican culture, it's called pata, which is shank, and that's kind of how we have it too.
well, not right, but not the actual shank, because the shank is the rack, I think, or the meat on it, and this was served just.
No, this
the
is
bone.
the la pata de
no meat in it.
de la vaca, cow's feet.
you know what I'm fascinated by though? I keep seeing these videos on, I think it's Facebook Watch. I'm not really sure. I know it's on Facebook, but every now and then, when you click on when you're going through your feed, and you click on those videos, and then they have additional videos afterwards.
Exactly.
I'm
going down
I'm
rabbit
obsessed,
hole. Right.
obsessed because I will go scroll and watch literally I found this. One of my favorites was Nas. He's a guy who traveled around the world, and he does like I think 5 minutes or 3 minutes or something about each place he goes to. And I always thought they were fascinating videos. Right. And he talks about the culture and the people there, and he wraps it all up in less than 5 minutes. And I think it's a wonderful thing. But I saw videos where people would be cooking outside, like in India and in China, in these places where people would be gathering all their food in these big pots and cooking these delicious looking meals.
So I'm actually showing them pictures of pata
You
de
think of like
menudo.
how clay pot is like traditionally cooked, and like they really do like conceal it all. Like they bake the food.
I even watched them make their own
in
spices.
English?
That was amazing. Watching them make their own spices before they even made the meal. The first thing they make are all the spices.
No, let me tell you, and I don't know. I think I told Charles when my grandma and my aunt used to make any type of food. The first thing is they would go and actually buy the raw material. They had this stone where they would grind, and I think it's called metate. They would grind all the spices and stuff, and then they would like when I say scratch, is not just our common nowadays scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
You buy everything already ready to just throw in. No. They will go in and just do the whole entire thing. And so I was just showing you a picture of menudo.
I've had menudo like so many times.
This in English, isn't it? Chitlins.
It's kind of like chitlins. Yeah, it's kind of like chitlins.
So, and in this case, we cut the bone of the feet of the animal, and we kind of.
But
that.
I think the difference is, don't you use the from the cow? I think with chitlins they do it from the pig.
Right.
Oh yeah,
I thought
we use the cow.
That's the major difference. Is that it's.
Oh, and cleaning it is a pain in the rear. Because you have to remove all that stuff out.
I know. I used to watch. I didn't even know what chitlins was until I moved to Texas. I had no idea what they were, and I saw my stepmother at the time.
This looks really good.
I saw my stepmother at the time with her mother and sisters, all with this big red bucket in the kitchen. They'd pull it all out. They'd all be sitting around talking and pulling all the strings. It stunk. Stunk to hell.
Oh, let me tell you, when you do menudo, you have to keep your windows open because ooh,
That
it's really
smell
bad.
stays in the
It's
house
like,
for days.
it does stay in the
until
house.
it's cooked, right?
Until it's cooked. Once it's cooked,
Mhm.
it's gone.
But you got to think of what the intestines are.
We should put once we upload the episode, we should probably put some of the pictures of the stuff that we were
Exactly.
we're looking at. So
We're gonna start being better at that, y'all.
Yeah,
We're
and of
sorry.
course, we know that there's a lot of people out there that don't eat any of these things and whatnot. We're not definitely trying to gross you out, but just keep in mind that
you guys ever had escargot?
Yes.
I've had it.
Yes,
yeah.
I've had it.
Yeah.
What's our stance on it?
I don't care for it. But
I don't
it's not
care
bad,
for
though.
it. It's not bad.
I think
I
it's
just
bad.
don't care for it.
Not bad because of the butter, or do we think it's just a vessel for
No,
butter?
I think it's too much butter.
I think it's a vessel for butter.
I think it's a vessel
I
for
don't like
butter.
anything.
I didn't
well,
enjoy
it's kinda
anything
weird.
about the actual snail itself.
Well,
I didn't have a problem with the snail. It's just they put so much butter and garlic on it, and I went,
I put a little bit of lemon on it,
mm-hmm,
and then I put some hot sauce,
mm-hmm,
and I swallow it
Mhm.
like that. And of course I said swallow because I didn't even want to chew it.
Yeah.
But it didn't taste bad though.
mm-hmm,
It was one of those things that I tried a couple times
Mhm.
because I've done maybe like three
mm-hmm.
times, and I don't care for it. But if it's there, like one of my best friends, she loves to buy stuff like that.
Mhm.
So of course she'll buy a whole tray. She's like, I need help, and I'm like, okay, I'll have some. But
Right.
other than that, I really don't care for it.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's the only time that I ever had it is with her.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've had it. The first time I had it at Macaroni Grill, which, let me tell you something. If you're going to get something like that, you don't get it from some court.
No,
That's not the place to do.
No,
Pay
you need
$35
an
a snail for it.
Yeah, you need an oyster bar, or you need like a place that
Mhm.
does know how to do
Mhm.
seafood.
Right.
But the next time I had it on a Disney cruise,
Oh.
and it was, once again, I went, it tasted better than it did at Macaroni Grill, but I'm still not a fan of snail. I just went,
No, I
it's
don't
not
think there's
bad, but I wouldn't run out and go buy snail.
No, me either.
Mm-mm.
And I don't think anyone who's ever tried it
Mm-hmm.
gets it regular. I think
Mhm.
everyone who tries it is like, they do it just to try it because
Mhm.
it's like the most outrageous
let me tell
food.
you
Nine
something. When
times
you
out
go
of 10, it's the most outrageous food they
when I
think of.
was in Cartagena,
Mm-hmm.
Colombia, pretty much everybody just goes, catches, and brings it over to you. They open it right there. They put some lemon, some hot sauce,
Mm-hmm.
and there you go.
Snails?
Yeah,
Oh. No.
all sorts of different.
They're very popular
Mhm.
in water areas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, of
yeah.
course.
And let me
Mhm.
tell you, I mean, and you have to be careful because, of course, those people. When I say those people, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
But
What do you mean, those people?
those people, the people that sell them. Sometimes, if you don't ask, hey, how much or whatnot, they'll really.
Right. It's like, you owe me $600.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
seriously.
Right. Exactly.
That shit
And you
does
think he's
happen.
just being friendly, like
Mhm.
letting
Yeah.
you try
Especially
one.
because they use the word te regalo, which means
Here, try this.
here, try this.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give it to you. But what they really mean is by saying I'm gonna give it to you, that means for a price. They just don't tell you
Mhm.
what that price is until you have gone into like a couple, and then
Exactly.
they're like, oh, it's so much, and you're like, what the hell? So you just have to be careful with that.
The snails are not swag, y'all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I tried caviar, also on a cruise ship.
I do not mind caviar.
I did not care for it.
I do not like roe.
It's salty. It's just.
I've tried salmon roe.
Mm-mm.
Again, one of those things where I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not something I would necessarily
Mm-hmm.
be interested in just asking for,
Mm-hmm.
unless somebody just gets a lot and they just share. I might get some, but caviar, not the. No, I don't think I've ever had.
I think,
caviar.
honestly, being on cruises really opened up my food palate
The
a bit
salmon
because
roll-
I ate things I would never. I didn't like. The first time I had lamb, I hated lamb.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
I
Oh
hated
my
it.
God, it's so freaking good.
Now,
all the baby animals
Mhm.
taste better.
mhm. And I was like, no, I'm never
course.
going to eat this
There's a
again.
difference between,
But once I was on a
chicken
cruise,
A 19-year-old and a
mhm.
yeah, a rooster, a
50-year-old.
chicken, and
Mhm.
I don't know what to call a
one
younger,
certainly tastes better.
a younger
Mhm.
chicken. I forgot. Because there's a chicken, the rooster, and then there's
Well, the
the
chicken
is
biggest-
The
there's
hen,
the
there's a
hen.
hen.
There's
Oh,
a
no.
So
hen.
the hen.
Hen,
Mhm.
the hen is the female and the rooster is
Right. But
Mhm.
there's
you could call him a cock if you wanted to.
Mhm.
okay.
The cock would technically be the younger of them because I think once he's a rooster,
Mhm.
Right.
he's really more
okay.
of like the old
So
guy.
usually the
on
younger
campus.
the animal is, it is true. It's a little bit.
Mhm.
Now, to make soup, you want to use the older one.
Mhm.
Right, because you
You
want
want
all
the
that
female,
experience.
not the male.
Mhm.
right. You want all that experience.
You want all that experience and all that. Mhm.
but you want to melt away the toughness.
Yeah, exactly.
In a,
Okay.
in a long
Now this is
stewing
going to
bath.
a different place. But anyways, is salmon roe and caviar around the same?
They
Are they
okay,
considered
so
the same
caviar
thing? Or
is caviar because it is a more of a
specific
commodity,
type of
and there's less of it. It's harder to
it's
farm.
harder to farm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Whereas salmon roe, there are so many more salmon out there, and they're
True.
just more common. You go out
Right,
in
right.
the river.
But
during
at the end of the day,
breeding season,
is fish eggs.
it's fish eggs, right?
Period.
Both are fish eggs.
Okay. So that's what I wanted to
Caviar,
know whether
The
they're
size is
considered
right. It's not considered caviar
kind
because
of
it's not
the
a delicacy.
same almost. But of course,
Right.
it's kind of like
One is a
what are
delicacy,
those-
and the other one is
What
not.
are those?
Now I heard that putting a little salmon roe, is it roe or roux?
Roe.
Roe. Salmon roe on eggs is supposed to be amazing.
Well,
I could
I've
see
had
that.
Yeah,
Because
that's just a little, not a lot.
It's a very salty
Mhm.
kind
It's a
of
very
like
salty-
It's not
Because I've
fishy.
had it on
Mhm.
what are those things called? The French bread,
Bruschetta.
bruschetta.
Mhm.
I've had them on bruschetta.
That's
and,
Italian.
Oh my God.
Isn't that Italian? Bruschetta?
Bruschetta is Italian, but
There's
a
a
lot of
ton
restaurants
of-
use it a lot for
Mhm.
Seafood is actually
appetizer.
immensely popular.
Yeah, and you
in
can actually put
Italy.
it in.
Mhm.
Less so than they make it seem in
No, but it's funny because the
whitewashed
bruschetta I
Italian food.
had a cheese, like a little slice of like egg patty,
Mhm.
and then it had some herbs, and then it had the salmon roll on top.
Right.
That thing was so
Mhm.
freaking
And I think bruschetta is just like any amalgamation of anything on
yeah.
Mhm.
on
On
a
bread.
toast.
a toast. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like ceviche is. It's like you can get a zillion different things of ceviche. There's a traditional ceviche, but they can mix it up in
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much
anything they want. It's
any-
just that
any
mixture of
can
meat
be
and
cooked with,
salsa.
Mhm.
with lemon.
Any
Or
meat
lime.
or any seafood?
Well, any seafood.
Mhm.
Well, meat too, though,
What kind of meat?
because
Sushimi is actually cooked.
ground beef.
You know,
Sushimi.
Mhm.
sashimi is cooked.
So pretty
with
much,
the
pretty much
acid of-
everything you put lemon on it when it comes to meat and seafood is mainly seafood, but
it means to like
yeah.
sanitize it
True.
in
Mhm.
part to cook it because it's not totally
Now
healthy
it's
to
not
eat it
100% secure, of course, because we know the stories about
Mhm.
ceviche,
Right.
but overall,
Or
I mean,
sushi in
but now
general.
if you can handle raw seafood, then you're good with ceviche.
Mhm.
You know, in Japan, they eat raw chicken, sashimi chicken. I was like,
Oh, I thought that was
that-
a fad. Is that still going on?
it may have been,
Look,
but
I have
I
no
think that was
idea,
a
but,
fad.
one of my brother's friends, he told me about his
Mhm.
friend going there, and he was
I
actually
do raw sushi,
eating
but I can
raw
only.
chicken.
It's funny because if I do too much, my stomach doesn't digest it all that well.
Mhm.
But if I have like a roll or two, we're good.
Mhm.
Right.
If I keep on going, then my stomach is just gonna.
So like, I
Mhm.
pick it up, you take it home, you cook it.
Mhm.
It tastes just like fish. I don't know what the big
So
deal is.
I'm gonna send out a shout because he listens to the episode every now and then. Matt Daly, who
Hey,
lives
Matt.
in Japan with his wife and child.
What's up, Matt?
Can you please tell us if raw chicken is still a thing? Because I thought it was just a fad, to be quite honest. I read about it maybe a couple of years ago, and I went, "Oh, the Japanese are so crazy. Raw chicken? Are you kidding? It probably
No,
y'all
but
so
think
crazy."
about it that at a certain point in time, there was nothing ever cooked. I mean, eventually people figured out
Mm-hmm.
Right.
with seasoning and fire,
Mm-hmm.
the food is better.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. Well, in island nations, seafood is very important. They do have beef and chicken and all this other stuff,
Right.
but seafood is
Yeah, that's of
mostly the
course.
mainstay when it's an island nation. So, eating things.
Seafood is the
Well, and
main
it's
thing.
tropical, and you think of what
Mhm.
What's
grows.
available,
Well, what
Mhm.
grows in tropical climates?
Mhm.
Right.
Citrus fruits.
Mhm.
right? So what
So the
people
pairing
eat,
is just
a
natural.
lot of fruit and veggies
Mhm.
compared to, here in Texas where there's
Beef.
cattle.
It's beef. It's
Beef,
all about the
it's our
beef.
thing,
Mhm.
of
Right.
course.
Mm-hmm. Steers and,
And
queers.
Gay men to that. Gay men
And
to
I'm
that.
okay. If you can mix the two, I'm okay with
So have y'all had
Mm-hmm.
I guess balls or penis?
Nope.
From
Like
what animal?
Like Rocky Mountain oysters?
Like no.
Is
It's
that
called
a real
machitos.
thing?
It is.
Well,
It's
some
bull
places
balls.
it's bull balls. Yeah,
Ox
Well,
balls.
there's a thing called machito,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty much the penis and the balls, and you cook them and you eat them. I've never had it.
Mm-hmm. I have no will to.
Now
Want to.
I might try it one day.
I like mine raw.
I've had bull balls. You know, like.
Oh, you actually had them?
Well, no, I mean he was definitely a bull.
No, we're not talking
and they
about
were
human.
in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
We're not talking about teabagging.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you were able to get big old balls in your mouth? Your mouth is so little.
We're not even going there. Lord
Okay.
have mercy.
He's like a snake.
No,
His
yeah.
jaw reticulates, so it
He-
opens wider.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It can
Like
take
a
in
snake?
more like a
Right.
snake. He can
But not
swallow
on
a
command.
small pig if he needed to.
/have in my.
You swallow
He was a piglet
He,
though.
he was a piglet.
That'll do,
I
pig.
wasn't even trying to
That'll
go
do.
there. I was
Mhm.
really trying to talk about.
Oh, you know
You
we're
know.
gonna go there.
Right.
You know?
But before we get
That's
to
the
the
nature
whole,
of this.
you know,
we're gonna go there.
True.
before we
Because
get
we're
to
gonna
the
talk about
clockwork,
stories.
it's not
Mhm.
Clockwork Orange. What is it? The other
Disappointing movie, by the way.
the other cult classic,
Mhm. Oh, there's a lot of cold.
Pretty Mouth. Before we got there,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Exactly.
Deliverance.
Yeah.
Deliverance.
sure do got a pretty mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get there, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, have we talked about what we've been up to all week?
No, we talked a lot about food.
What
I think we were really
Have-
hungry because we
Yeah,
talked a
right.
lot about,
So,
Happy
except
different types of hungry.
except for the fact that someone, mentioned,
shout out
human
to Marcus, right?
Oh, come on.
and suddenly I lost my appetite. Well, I gained it back when I thought about human meat on a different term.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Oh, it's like when I open up our Twitter page and the first thing I see is man meat, and I'm like,
Can I just
why
say
is it that our followers keep sending us dick pics?
Can
No,
I say
it's
that
actually not there.
I'm surprised that Marcus is not here
Mm-hmm.
today,
True.
given, yesterday was, probably his favorite holiday this year.
Okay, which Marcus are we talking about? My Marcus or your Marcus?
My Marcus.
I like
What-
how we have a my Marcus and
Everyone was sending around those happy impeachment day, you know.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because,
Well, I don't think it's gonna really do much because.
no, I mean, it does, he's not
at
gonna
least
be,
not yet. 'Cause
Okay,
he's not
it
getting
it doesn't
removed
automatically
yet.
expel
So-
you from office.
Yeah.
So, as
but
some,
it's still enjoyable because he's got that mark on, and will
Right.
always have that mark on his resume.
yeah.
of
So the
course.
thing is that for those of
He's
you
retired now for good.
whose posts I keep reading, you are getting the impeachment process wrong. He is not getting kicked out of office.
Right, exactly.
What is happening
At
is
least
that
not yet.
the
Yeah, it
articles
still
of
has to go through.
impeachment still has to go through the Senate.
And it'll set a
It went through the
precedent.
House. It has to go through the Senate.
Yes, once it has to go
And-
through the Senate.
And that's the tough part because the majority are
Mhm.
Republicans.
Well, and
Mhm.
even if they do
But the
accept it,
beautiful-
he doesn't get knocked out of office.
Yeah.
I don't think he
But
just has that mark
Yeah,
on his
but
record.
the thing is that the presiding judge will be sworn in by the vice president, and the presiding judge will be the John Roberts, who's head of the Supreme Court. Chief justice will
Right.
be over
Right.
the whole thing, and then of course we know what the Republicans are already going to do. So they pretty much already said what they were going to do,
Right.
Yeah.
which is basically just let him off with a spanking.
Right, exactly.
A
Right.
slap on the hand. Bad Donald. Bad Donald.
He's like, oh, I like that. You do it
Mhm.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Mhm.
don't get too close, though, because they'll grab you
Mhm.
in your hoo-ha.
I don't want to get too much into it, but I just want to say that I am quite disappointed that that the Republicans these are all the people that are speaking about how much they love Trump and everything else, hated him, despised him before the election.
Right. Now they're-
Despised him. Now they just lick his balls like nothing in the world. I'm like, that's how do you get people to do? That's amazing.
You do what he did to his lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
Fuck everybody.
and you completely fucking end his professional career and his
exactly.
life and put him behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Because
You make prison the safest place he could possibly be.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you really think about it, watch where Giuliani is going to end up.
mm-hmm.
fucked up.
Same place Kwame.
But you know what?
ended up.
I think Giuliani's going to do that more to himself. I think Donald's just going, I'm not going to tell you to shut up.
He's just calling all the
Just
favors
do all
he
your
has done
thing.
to everybody and say, okay,
Mhm.
now it's time
Exactly.
to pay.
Donald is throwing everyone who helped him in the way before everyone gets to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So that he has time to prepare his defense when they
Mhm.
finally get to his front doorstep.
Mhm. He's
And saying,
basically, he's
you know,
throwing everybody under the bus before
Exactly.
the bus even comes.
So that it slows down. So then it slows down enough that he can get enough
He's
people to take
creating
responsibility for
enough,
their actions.
Mhm.
So that when it gets to him,
Mhm.
he's like, "No, I just said get me some paper clips."
Mhm. If this is if I've learned anything from watching this man the last 3.5 years, is he is a master of distraction.
Thank
With
you.
all this stuff going on,
Oh, yeah.
he does things behind closed
Oh,
doors
of course.
that suddenly start to affect people, and you're like, wait,
Wait, were we still talking about Trump?
yeah, exactly.
I thought we were talking about current events and
Mhm.
but
no, we were
yeah.
talking
other
about
other respects of life.
what we have done. What we have
I
done
was like,
since
that
last
sounds
week.
like somebody I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so Joel, what have you been up to since last week?
Well, since we have already reached that point,
Well, real quick, we'll do a 2-minute around the table.
we'll do a 2-minute around the table.
There you go.
Basically working.
No highlights, no
having-
dicks on the bus.
No dicks on the bus this time around.
Dicks on
It's
the
the
bus.
holidays, and the
Round
cameras
and
are out in
round.
full force.
Right? Lord have mercy. Watching all these shoplifters out
Mhm.
here.
Cameras are out in full force, so keep those dicks in your pants.
Right.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Until you get to the bathroom at the 24-hour fitness and then take all the selfies you like.
Mhm. I don't. Should you be doing? We
I
do
think-
not endorse that, by the way.
I think it's a little tacky to
There
take
is-
a picture
Mhm.
and like it's so generic and like the mirror is there on the wall and the sink and like you're in the restroom. It's like, could you learn how to take a picture, please? Like if you're in front of the mirror, hold the camera so that it's, the screen is facing the mirror so you can see that you're still in the picture, but that the whole rest of the bathroom isn't.
What's wrong with using the reverse feature on the camera? Instead of, I don't understand why people stand in the mirror.
So that they can see their whole body and they
Well,
can stand up straight.
Mhm.
And like, 'cause when
Mhm.
you're looking at like this, you're kind of all
Mhm.
contorted and trying to figure it out in
Mhm.
opposite. And
And
so
not
you
just
move
that, it
the
allows
wrong
you
ways.
to look at what you're going to be taking a picture of, because even if you are posing right in the mirror, that doesn't mean that you're able to see what you're getting.
Right.
Mhm.
And the front-facing camera actually does everything in reverse.
Mhm.
So, like, if you move opposite on the camera.
Mhm.
So then it confuses, and, like, you're not sure which butt cheek is which, and you're like, oh, wait, that's not my right side. That's
Mhm.
not my good side.
Well, I did learn something about taking selfies from a couple of my lady friends, because I always asked them why they always held the camera up
It's so that
super high.
you don't get the double
You
chin.
don't get the double
You don't
chin
get the
because
double
then you're looking
chin.
Yeah, that's why
Mhm.
when
And-
you do
and-
brides for
and not
weddings,
just
you
that.
generally,
Beca-
like, have them
Because
stick their head
when I would
out.
take a selfie, I would hold the picture down,
I
and
don't
I'm
know
like,
if you
"Oh my
noticed-
God, look at all of
Because
this!"
you're looking down at the camera.
I don't know
I
if
don't
you
wanna
notice that whenever I'm
Mhm.
ready to take a picture, I do this.
Mhm.
Like, I pull my
I
neck
noticed.
up and
And
you
tighten
notice
that
and
skin.
tighten that skin right here.
Mhm.
That way you can't necessarily tell. And I'm like,
Photographer secrets.
Mhm.
yeah.
So you ladies who are taking the pictures from below table level, like, let's do...
Bring it up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Bring it
lamp.
up.
Because if you take a picture from above, it makes you look slightly slimmer this way.
Mhm.
Exactly, because
It-
the
it-
vanishing point
The
Uh-huh.
vanishing point, it's like
kind
a
of tapers your body
Right.
towards
See, now I'm kind
makes
of
it look
curious.
more
'cause-
like a V versus
it being,
so
wider.
So I'm gonna see for myself, because here's me forward, here's me a little bit up, but I'm trying to.
You see
Oh,
how
you know
your
what?
double chin went away?
Yes, I can see.
I mean, because
Mhm.
everyone has
Because
a
if you
double
do it-
chin.
and even
Oh,
even
God.
if you're not gonna
Mhm.
bring your face up,
Mhm.
just do this.
Because like if I
Mhm.
do it, I've got a double chin
Mhm.
that
so
shows.
push your neck up
Mhm.
in your chin forward,
Just
there you go.
out. Yeah.
Mhm.
and then smile, and that takes away the double chin.
Oh, look at that.
And see, you don't have to go all the way up, but you have to know
Mhm.
Right.
those tricks.
Mhm.
As a
It's like
photographer, you learn,
sucking it up and like using your
Mhm.
hands to kind of not show your
Mhm.
right, and
or
just
cover
pulling
your
your shoulders
stomach
back
or
a
put
tiny
your
little
shoulders
bit.
back.
I feel
and-
like we're giving instructions on how to take perfect Instagram pictures.
yes, why
Mhm.
not?
Well, I mean, you have two
You have two
professional photographers here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why don't we get into that in the second half? That way we
You
can.
can.
Yeah. we can get into that in a second. We
I
need to
think,
take a break.
I think we can work that in. But
Yeah.
It's like those people that worry about their arm being too big.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually just go like this, like
And
put it
flex
away
that
and
muscle.
flex that muscle,
Mm-hmm.
usually it will shrink.
The bat wing goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has bat wings if you don't hold your arm the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just putting it flat against your body where
Mm-hmm.
it makes the flap on the back come up,
Mm-hmm.
you hold it up a little bit and then you flex it.
Mm-hmm.
It actually helps that go away.
Oh, okay.
More
More to come.
More to come.
more grinder posing.
Yeah,
and 101.
Yeah,
Grinder
we're
posing.
more grinder post. You
When
know,
we get
I
back.
do when we get back. I would like to talk how to take a perfect dick pic because I think we need some lessons on how to take dick pics because I think a lot of dick pics that I get are
I would say
horrible
that
looking.
I agree.
Mhm.
And I've actually, and this is probably because I'm a photographer, I have
Mhm.
I've taken some great dick pics. Okay. I'm very proud.
Well, we're 35 minutes into the show, so we're going to take a little bit of break and we'll be right back.
Yay!
Buddy, push the red button.
Okay, we're back. And you
Yay.
heard Miss Piggy go, someone push the red button.
It's from that Michael Jackson ride at Universal Studios. Oh my gosh.
Push it.
It's like my favorite
Mhm.
little thing.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
Mhm, we're ready to get back into the next part of this show.
Indeed. Indeed. What was next?
Oh, yeah, actually.
Okay, so
Wow.
I think we originally had a second half idea.
Mhm.
Yes, and we're still gonna use it.
Yeah, oh, we're still going to use it.
Yes.
But I did want to finish out one important question to the photographers at the table at how to take a proper dick pic.
A proper dick pic.
Mm-hmm. Because I can tell you right now, the dick pics that I usually get, the lighting is terrible.
Lying on your back, chin down.
The
From your chin down.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
Either that or you never want to take it necessarily 100% like vertical. No, what is the what eye level?
mm-hmm,
You want to either take it a little up high or from low
mm-hmm,
to make it look longer. Now, usually, if you are erect and you allow you take a picture from, let's say, your legs going up to
I would
your
say
body,
mid-thigh height.
mid-thigh high,
mm-hmm.
and you let, of course, your balls hang. Usually, it gives it length.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, if you're trying to lend that image, I've always just been this is what it is kind of thing. But if you're looking to kind of exaggerate by means of perspective, vantage point,
You know, I'm
that's definitely a way to do it for sure.
Now,
I'm
make sure
looking
that
for proper filters to use.
I don't use filters.
I don't think you don't need filters if you.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, I don't know why people use filters. I really don't like filters at all. It's like
It has
it
to do
takes
with
away from the natural.
it has to do with fluorescent light. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I
Because
think it does.
fluorescent light sucks.
Fluorescent light does suck, and
Um,
sometimes I think a filter is a good idea, but
It's
I'm
because-
also on the fence about filters. I don't like.
Now make sure that your photo is not too dark or too light.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always, and actually, any photographer will tell you this. A gloomy day is a perfect day for pictures.
Really, I did not know that.
Unless you're doing beach and you
Right.
want the sun
and
there,
you need the blues
and
and
yeah.
the reds from the
right,
sand.
from the sand. Otherwise, you want it to be gloomy
Mm-hmm.
because that's going to give you perfect.
It gets
pictures.
all of UV light actually makes for great picture taking.
Mm-hmm.
When the sun is too bright, it washes everything out.
Washes
Okay.
White
Look,
balances all off.
So I want to throw this in here
Whitish.
for any of you listeners out there. That does not mean. Now I know we were just talking about dick pics a second ago. Do not go outside on a gloomy day trying to take a dick pic
pictures.
unless you're in the privacy of your
Right.
own backyard.
Get you an incandescent light bulb.
Unless you're in
For
the
your
privacy of your
nightstand.
own backyard with no neighbors who might be looking in, wondering what the hell is he doing.
Right.
Well, what's wrong with maybe they're nudists or they want to show off?
Well, yeah, that's true, but I don't want to encourage people to run out in the street on a gloomy day trying to take it. I'm sorry. Let me stop saying
I would
the word
say that
people.
skin tones.
Men do not run out in the street.
I would say that skin tones
Mhm.
in instances like that, you're generally better off
Oh.
on a sunny day.
And,
Gloomy
Mhm.
day, not so good when you're doing
and
shooting
by
skin
the way,
tone.
one turn off for me is if you're going to send a dick pic,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're not ashy.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Because
that's one of my
it
biggest
is
complaints too.
Not cute.
Ashy.
I want to see
ashy
something
dicks.
that
No.
looks, no ashy dicks.
A little lotion does not hurt.
A little lotion, a little lube.
You use it anyway for whatever it is you're going to be doing, so you might as well use a little lotion before you take the dick pic.
Right.
I don't understand. I
don't
never
like that shit.
understood that. You use lotion all the time when you masturbate, but when you take a dick pic, I'm getting an ashy dick.
Right.
And you should
A cock ring does wonders for cock selfies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I actually don't necessarily like, honestly, I don't like any type of like, lingerie or underwears, or I'm all about being totally naked.
Mm-hmm.
Like just
I think so
natural.
too. Pulling your underwear down to take
Don't
a
get
quick.
me wrong. There's some pictures out there that you'll find the dude sexy, but for me, there's nothing like the natural body.
Yeah, just go with the natural body. Don't just pull your underwear down and take a picture on a gloomy day outside.
Right. Lord have
But I never. I find that quite interesting, and I think people in the honors, I did not know that
We are not promoting public indecency.
that taking pictures on a gloomy day would give you the best pictures.
Just pictures in general. Like I don't have the same experience. I would say like when I'm taking pictures of me or like people, but like as far as like subjects, architecture, on the vascular, you get enough light.
If you're
That's why
doing
they
a
tell you
photo
you
shoot,
can still get a sunburn on an overcast day. I would say overcast versus sunny or versus gloomy.
Yeah, you can't get a
Because
sunburn.
gloomy is a little bit darker.
Well, it depends also on what flash. Because, for example, if I were to go gloomy, I would need a flash to bring out some of that.
Right. Yeah.
Which colors out of in the picture, but if we're talking about an overcast, then you really maybe don't even need
Right.
the actual flash. Now on a photo shoot, you want it to be, you definitely don't want sun. That
Right.
creates a lot of shadows
Lots of shit.
that you don't want. Now, when we're talking about, let's say you're gonna take a picture of somebody that has chill muscles, whether it's a girl or a guy, and the light hits them from a side, not from the front. You never want the light to hit you from up top or from the front. What you want them is the light to hit from the side, so it'll create that shadow in the muscle, and it makes the muscle look a lot better.
The intrigue.
So if you are a muscle guy, a muscle girl, because we know
Like
we have
me.
girls that are muscular, or like, people that have a 6-pack, like that looks a little bit more like a little pouch.
I have a 6-pack.
This
bitch.
So,
I don't see that as a 6-pack.
So, one more question I want to throw out, and then we're going to be done.
Moving right along.
We're going to move right along, especially for those of you who like to take selfies and that stuff on your cameras.
Don't use filters, bitches.
Light, when it comes to lighting and skin tone, let's say fair to medium and then medium to dark. What kind of light do you prefer for, let's say, medium to dark? Carlos is a little bit, what would you say? You're kind of like I'm an almond. So you would probably be more of a.
I would say you're darker than almond.
I think you're.
I would say I'm almond.
No, you're white. You're reddish white.
Well, right, but I think
you're like a cashew.
I think you're thinking of the actual without the brown on it, the inside of the almond. Which one's almond? Is it the outside of the almond or the inside?
No, the outside of the almond.
So I can see that. If
really?
you're the outside of the almond, yeah, I can see that.
Outside of the almond for sure, but I think almond is like almond white.
No.
Pinky, you're fair skinned, so
right. I'm more peachy pink.
Yeah.
But I think the color almond is designated by the inside of the almond.
I'm like a very light bronze.
But
because in reality, if I
when
were
we're
to take
talking
off my shirt, I would look like.
But when we're talking about lighting, are for people, let's say people of a darker skin tone versus someone of a fairer skin tone, how much lighting is involved on both sides of the coin?
Okay, if you're taking boudoir type pictures, I would say 160 watt incandescent bulb at about your nightstand height if you're laying in bed. That gives you the on angle light, the right amount of light for just about any skin tone.
Also, you'll be surprised.
It's enough to
for boudoir,
designate
yellow light or amber light. Does really good sometimes.
Right. I mean, with the incandescent bulb, you get a more yellow tone. It's not a true white or a bright white. So it accentuates and brings out the tone of
contour
your skin.
of your skin and your
Mhm.
body.
Well, and the color as well. It
Mhm.
will heighten the actual color of your skin
Mhm.
versus a white light that will just blast it white. And then it adds actually a little bit of white to your skin tone. That's why you look paler in that white. Versus the incandescent bulb where it's a little bit yellower, so it gives it a natural saturation.
Well,
And I think that's
now,
enough to
I think
really...
I think we'll find that out a little bit more when I dare to take my little
Now,
boudoir
something
picture.
something
Mhm.
and I know maybe I don't know how people will take this, but usually baby, not the oil, the gel,
Mhm.
like the coconut butter gel or
Mhm.
the shea butter.
Mhm.
If you are dark skinned, usually that brings it that gives it a little sheen to your actual skin,
Mhm.
and it makes it look really nice.
Mhm.
That, in my opinion, of course.
Mhm.
And that's why a lot of times you see all these, artists that are wearing very short dresses or
Mhm.
cleavage, that their body is really shiny,
Mhm.
is because they use something to, because otherwise it just looks pale brown.
Mhm.
And you don't want that you want it to
Mm-mm.
have a little bit of shine.
Yeah, you don't
to
want
it.
you don't want an ashy brown going on there.
And
I call it.
and not everybody's ashy.
Mhm.
It's just that the light will give you ashiness
Mhm.
more if you
Mhm.
have darker skin. So if you can bring a little bit of oil to your body, or make
Mhm.
sure that your body is not dry,
Mhm.
then that helps a lot.
Oh, okay, sisters. I'm talking about some cocoa butter and some shea butter because
Right.
those are my two favorite things. You know, my friends used to make fun of me all the time because I wear cocoa butter or shea butter, and
There's nothing wrong with that. I
there's
use it
nothing
too,
wrong. I love the first of all, I love
because I
the
have
scent. I
areas
love
in my
smelling like
body
chocolate.
that are very
Mhm.
dry.
Mm-hmm. I love smell with the cocoa butter. I love smelling like chocolate. I just love the smell of it. When I put it on my skin, I just feel so. I'm like, ooh, I feel like a Hershey's Kiss right there.
Yeah, right? Oh, Lord.
But I love shea butter, especially because my skin is so sensitive, and I think shea butter gives me a better sheen, and it keeps my skin moisturized so much longer.
Right.
And something to always avoid,
Mhm.
red light.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people use red light to kind of make it look more like you're either bronze or
Mhm.
there's sun effect,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives it a little weird redness to your skin.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're already red or red complected,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna just show funny.
Yeah.
Like you have a carrot type of.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Any kind of brown is going to appear far more orange
True.
than brown.
Yeah.
Because they're going for a browner look,
Right.
but it's taking your,
So
your complexion, Carlos, for example, will come across deep orange,
Mm-hmm.
versus deeper brown.
It would go orange if you use a red.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna use a red light, make sure that it's not gonna be direct to your, let's say if you're in a poolside and you're missing sun, you can use a red light to make it look like there's sun inside the building, but make sure that it's not on your body, because then you're gonna look orange.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you this in drawing, and like the first thing about realistic drawing is like you always want to see the effects of your light source.
Right.
You never want to see your light source.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an art all around, like whether you're drawing still lifes, architecture, anything, portraiture.
Yeah.
Where the light is coming from is important, but don't draw the sun in the picture because the sun's never actually in the picture.
You know, the funny thing is that I think that right now there's someone taking notes right now, and they're still thinking about a dick pic. I don't know why. I'm thinking that in my head.
Well, he's doing this. He's like,
I'm thinking that someone. Okay, so
he's like, wow, they're
okay,
right.
so I use a red light, so my dick looks like this. And
they're
blah,
on
blah,
Amazon
blah, blah, blah.
loading up their cart with like lights and
Yes,
stands.
exactly. I'm waiting to get that.
I have
If
zero lighting
I
equipment.
swear to
I
God, if I get a dick pic and it has all that stuff going on, I'm gonna be like, you know what?
It's funny because I don't know about y'all.
Good for
I
you.
really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer not to get any pictures regardless of what they are.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's just show me what your face looks like. Show me what your body on regular clothing looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I will discover the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but like, if your butthole is not fucking ridiculously pretty, don't send me pictures of it.
I think we've talked about this before.
We have, and that's why I'm just.
But
I
think it needs to be reiterated.
Some people like it.
Mm-hmm.
We all have different. And I'm not saying that I like.
But if you don't know that information first,
but I really prefer, like I said, I prefer no pictures or.
I don't mind dicks. I love, like I said,
anything.
A and T is my favorite, but don't send me pictures of your butthole. I mean, not that I'm in the market for that.
I like it. A nice set of
I just mean as a general rule.
Right.
If you're gonna send me
I really
pictures, and I'm more like you, Carlos. I really do like the mystery.
A lot of times
but
they tell me, hey, because at the end of the day, whatever you have, if I'm attracted enough, if you're attracted enough to me, you're still gonna come over.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And if those are what you're leading with,
yeah,
it's like you got to leave with the butthole shot. Everything else about you is probably a little bit lacking. It's like if I have to get past all the crap I'm not gonna enjoy to get there, I'm not gonna enjoy that as much either.
True.
So
yeah,
you don't ever want to. Well, you know what? He had a nice rosebud, but the rest of him was just horrible. It was not worth it.
I've been there. Never had that said to me, but I have felt that way in the past about an encounter.
And they have made you feel that way?
Like I was like, oh man, that was great. It had a lot of potential, but not worth having to talk to or instruct.
Well, I will say this, and
that was the most important thing.
Yeah, and then we're gonna end this because I will throw this in here. I have on many occasions have tried to take a dick pic, and I've tried to take a dick pic erect, but I cannot stay erect, and it's like I don't.
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
I know it's a cycle.
It won't all fit in the frame.
No.
It's like, Lord have mercy, here we go again.
Maybe.
And I know it's a psychological thing.
It may be.
Yeah, it's definitely a psychological thing because as soon as I take the camera away, whoop, there it is. And as soon as I put the camera there,
right. Yeah.
So what I tell guys, when guys go, hey, can you send me a dick pic? I'm like, can we just talk? Can we just talk? Just talk. Because the dick pic is not going to be successful.
Just tell them it won't fit in the frame.
I have said that before.
Gee,
and
I know.
And they want photographic proof of that. So no.
Well, at that point, you just yank it out of the frame and it doesn't have to be hard at that point. They'll never know the difference. Do you
think it will be the same if somebody else is taking the picture?
That has been tried too, and I still don't like.
Okay.
Does that kink your boa?
Does that kink your boa? No, but
which brings us to the topic of this week's episode.
Yes, kinking, or is it kinking the boa?
Kink, yeah, that kinks my boa. Puts a knot.
That kinks
puts a knot.
Boa.
Puts a knot in my feather boa.
That puts a knot in my feather boa.
Like shit that really just irks you.
You know what irked me? And I wanted to say this for quite some time. Ordering food. You get home late. You're hungry. You don't feel like going to the grocery store. You use an app on your phone. You say, oh, I'm going to order some food. You order the food and you wait, and it doesn't show up.
Because they're already closed.
No. They were open.
Oh.
I got the message saying, oh, it was delivered at 11:11 when it's 11:45 and I'm still waiting for my food. Look outside the door. There's no food.
Lord have mercy.
So somebody ate my food. And then having to call, well, not call, but I had to send a text. And I'm going to say, Grubhub, hate you so much.
Right.
Well, we can't give you a refund, but we'll give you a coupon for your next. A coupon?
What the fucking F?
I spent, somebody ate $20 worth of my food.
You think I want to order through you guys again?
You know what I had to eat?
How much that coupon was for?
It was 50% off.
Oh.
My next order.
Fuck all that.
I'm like, no, that's not going to.
That's not going to cut?
Well, we tried calling you. Nobody called me. I'm sitting on my couch looking at my phone. Right. Nobody called me. And then I went on Grubhub to make sure I changed my phone number on my Grubhub. And I didn't change the phone number on my Grubhub.
Oh.
Even though
operator error.
That was totally your fault.
Yeah, that was kind of my fault. Because I went, I've ordered from them so many times and I never worried about it. And I changed my credit card information because I have another one. And
right, because they don't confirm your phone number with you when you order. But when that card doesn't go through, they want the new card.
They want the, they'll call you. They'll figure out a way to call you when that card doesn't work.
Exactly.
But as soon as you want to get your food, nope. It's like, that's your problem.
But that's like I ordered from Pizza Hut.
Well, let me tell you, I've always ordered from Uber Eats. Never had a problem. Never once.
Right.
My food is always there where it's supposed to be. Now, I've done Uber Eats before, meaning me being the driver. I had an instance where I went to drop off at a university near downtown, or in downtown, I should say. And this girl just ordered a couple of truffles. And she had an emergency and ended up leaving. She never appeared. I got a text like hours later, like, keep on.
Who the fuck orders truffles and then has an emergency?
And so I was like, well, I am not going to go drop them off. I mean, she said you can have them after hours. But I was like, yeah, because I am not going to go back. And seriously, you just call and say, hey, blah, 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 this person didn't show up. And they usually tell you, well, just throw the food or give it away or just keep it. Now, one day, I think somebody ordered from some pizza place and they sent extra stuff. For some reason, the couple that ordered it didn't want the extra stuff. So I didn't know what to do with it, so I just took it home and had dinner with it.
That's so funny.
And that was soda, an extra pizza, and an extra piece of something else. I think it was Zap. But she just didn't want it.
That's funny.
That is. But Uber Eats charged my credit card twice one time. I'm like, why did you charge my credit card twice? You charged it twice. I got the refund a week and a half later.
Oh wow.
And they'll tell you that's
but they
because
charged my credit card twice,
right?
For the same order. I'm like,
because they do an authorization, which puts a hold on it, and then later on the charge will go through automatically. But it's like two separate things.
I know.
That's pretty much with anything you buy. If you use the credit feature of your debit card or any credit card, it'll put a hold on your account for that amount. Now, it won't be deducted.
Yeah, but
that's where you have to be careful because it takes up to 3 business days usually. But
because it still comes off your usable funds.
Yes. Now, there's this thing where the bank can hold the funds for more than 3 days if they don't give us, well, I say give us because they work at a bank. But if legally the bank can hold the funds further than the 3 days if the merchant doesn't present the ticket. So that transaction will fall out of your account
and then pop back
on later on. So you have to account for it and make sure that you're careful with that. Because if the merchant takes longer than the 3 days, you may think you have more money in there.
Right. Because your available balance will go up by that amount. And then when the company charging you actually sends through, they send it through as no longer a pending hold and authorization on your card. They send it through as a finished transaction.
So Bank 101, make sure you have the funds. Make sure you leave enough. Because at the end of the day,
make sure you do that for Uber Eats because Favor and the rest, they don't do that. They just charge me once. They just charge me once and call it a day.
Since Uber has came into their new ownership, they have started doing the authorizations. Because I noticed that when I do an Uber, when I request my pickup, it will run the authorization for what the ride total was. Yeah. And then it'll just be pending, and then it will go off.
Now, if you're going to give a tip, just make sure that you account for that tip.
And that comes off like a day and a half later.
And I'm going to say this as someone who I know who also drives an Uber. Tip your Uber driver, bitch. Tip your Uber driver.
If your Uber driver deserves it.
Just like in any other service.
There's some assholes out there.
Yeah, just like in any other service.
Not just an Uber driver, anyone that provides a service. If they deserve a tip, then tip them.
Yeah.
What if they deserve more than just a tip?
Okay, that's another show. Oh. That's a completely other show.
I'm going to add that.
You're going to add?
So, to my list of ideas.
So what keeps your BOA thinking?
Well, let's see. We've got pre-authorizations on cards.
Are you really?
We've got filters.
Why don't you just do your own personal thing? What?
I know. I'm trying to think. Those are all personal things. What irks me? So this has nothing to do with like anybody else in the universe, but like my fuse goes from like super duper long and tons of patience to like I'm gonna fucking get a hammer and smash things. Is a drawer or a door that like doesn't open the full amount that it's supposed to, and like the drawer either stops before I need it to, or like won't go in. It's like and I just like stare at the drawer as if it knows I'm pissed at it, and like, you need to get your fucking shit together. Or like I walk into a door and like suddenly the door stops and I like walk into the door. It's like, well, mother. Fuck.
So let me ask this question: Is this at home or is this just
Anywhere?
Okay, because I was gonna say, sweetie, if it's at home, you're a carpenter. Just
I know.
fix it.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Well,
I want to
okay.
grab
So, and you guys,
a hammer and just start breaking shit apart and put it back together.
right? So like, I'm never on time, right?
Mhm.
I'm always late. I'm always running around frazzled. Is because I run into one of those instances, and then I cannot move on with anything until I have fucking rectified this fucking drawer situation or the door situation or like.
You're
like,
no, but that's one
like,
thing that
mother-
you get fixated with little things.
Absolutely.
I've noticed
my
that.
OCD is like terrible, terrible,
Actually,
terrible.
I didn't want to say OCD, but that's kind
It's
of where
absolutely obsessive
where it
compulsive
is.
disorder.
Because I don't know if you notice, like whenever he's on the phone and he hates the phone, he starts walking uncontrollably.
I
Because he's
pace
on the
when I'm
phone,
on the
he
phone because it
paces.
makes me so anxious.
And so he gets caught up in those little things a lot. Like until he fixes.
Like I'll talk to people and they'll be like, oh, well, you know, like you don't like talking on the phone. I'm like, no, I prefer to have like even with my grandmother. It's like, please text me.
I'm always surprised.
You know, I'm not too much into text. I'll text people because it's the new thing to do. But I really prefer to just get on the phone and.
It's to avoid the angst for me, you know.
True, but you get anxiety off of it.
Right.
We don't.
I get anxiety from texting because
You're just always waiting on the
because
response.
sometimes
you're the one that created that chat and then you can't handle it. You get overwhelmed. You and all the other bitches.
I get anxious and then especially when I'm texting someone and they say something and then I'm like, is this bitch reading me? What's going on with this?
Right, it's hard to.
And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call her and find out what is going on right now. And then they're like, why did you call? Because I don't understand what you just said. Right? You just said K. Are you mad, bitch? Tell me what's going on.
You mad, bro?
No, something that irks me is, for example, and this happens a lot on the chat, and I try not to get upset about it, but the fact that y'all put something without much of a thought, and you're thinking that everybody's going to read your mind and know the front end and the back end of what you just said, and then I'm like, what?
That's mostly between...
What do you mean?
Or it's like me and I'll respond to a message like 20 messages ago.
Yeah,
because I read them in order and then I respond in order. So I say something we talked about, they were talking about 2.5 hours ago and nobody has any fucking idea. And it's like, well, calm down. I was like, yeah, it's right up here. It's like, girl, that is not relevant anymore.
Yeah, we talked about that 4 hours ago. What's wrong with you?
It's like, yeah, but I'm just doing it in order.
I don't know if y'all noticed that I'm the only one that does not have, although of course it irks me that I feel like there's not enough, because text can make a lot of things get lost in translation.
Yeah, it can blow.
Right. So So I
with our personalities, I don't
with
believe
our
it.
personalities, and so I kind of don't like that. But to a certain extent, I feel like I'm the one that can keep up with everybody's fucking conversation and not have an issue.
I always come off as the mean one. I'm like, Joel, why are you so mean? I'm not being mean. I'm just telling you like it is.
Well, and I think between Carlos and I have enough side conversation that he's got a relevant context for like where I am coming from that, because I'll get a text like directly from him and like it's like, I get it, right? And like, or like I'll say something to the whole group and it will require follow up that happens on the side versus in the chat.
I can tell you right now.
Usually I put stuff on the side if I know somebody's going to take offense to what I'm about to say, or
I just say it and everybody's like, why did you say that? And I'm like,
no, I've done that. I've done that.
What I meant at the moment.
So, for example, when we were having the conversation about whether we were going to have it at the podcast or we we're going to record at 11 midnight or at 12 today and whatnot, I felt like there was a big disconnect between you two, and I was like, okay, I think you got to.
Right, because okay, so we had talked about somebody was going to be on the show, but they weren't going to be available until 11. And I was like, you know, we tossed around the idea of having like a sleepover episode and whatnot. And I was like, that'd be fun. We could just sit around and yak like we're painting each other's nails and doing each other's hair. And looking at both of you now, and like, I'd be the only one getting my hair done. But
Sure.
It's like one of you on each
y'all
side
can
of
do
my hair
nails 'cause
braiding
I have
it.
very long nails.
Right.
I need to get them.
And then Carlos was like, no, we talked about doing it today then.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I'll pick you up at 11:30. And I was like, oh, we're going to do it tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, I know. I was like, oh, you mean, AM. Got it.
You know, the funny thing is that Carlos and I had already agreed that we were going to do it at noon today. You come in later and go, wait, are you picking me up at 11:30 a.m.?
Right. Well, and I would, right, because I was.
With that big question mark at the end, and he and I were already done. We had already made all the stuff. And then I watched the conversation between you and Carlos, and I'm like, no, girl, I'm picking you up at 11:30 tomorrow.
Usually
because where I left off, it was like we were doing a show at midnight.
Different conversations with different people to avoid that confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Right, for everyone. Because then I say something confusing, and they're like, wait, what? And everyone's just,
crazy.
And can someone out there tell me one thing and one thing only with the new iPhone? It used to be I could shut down group chat and call it a day. Now I can't shut down group chat, and group chat can go on with this group, it can go on for days. And half the time I'm not even in the chat. I'll just pick up my phone and I'm like, oh, what are Pinky, Chris and Carlos talking about today? And it's
I don't know how to shut it off.
I don't know how to shut it off. I have tried to
shut. You have to remove yourself.
You can shut off notifications from that group.
I did shut off notifications for the group.
You're trying to not get group messages at all?
I was trying to not get group I told you, I said, you bitches text each other. Why y'all keep coming on my group chat?
Your group chat?
Oh.
Because I started, because
like that.
No, because
we're pulling the exec card out.
Okay,
here.
well, I started the group chat so we could all talk about what we're going to do on the show and everything. And then group chat just devolves into what y'all did last night, whose dick you sucked, what place,
that is not true. I have never talked
what
about
club y'all went to, and all this other stuff. And
I feel like you just mentioned one member of the group chat.
Who, Carlos?
No, I don't talk about, and I don't put anything about.
Oh no!
It's not me.
No, Carlos. Not me. You know what I love about Carlos.
We love you, Elliot.
After a few, we love.
He's not here to defend.
He's
herself.
not here to defend himself. But Carlos, we get a few drinks in, and then suddenly here comes the text.
I don't need drinks to text people.
Oh my God, I'm drunk as fuck.
I'll tell you when I'm drunk.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we love.
I will tell you when I'm drunk.
You will tell us you were drunk. I'm like, oh, Carlos is drunk.
Yay.
But when I'm not drunk,
I'll come back 25 minutes later and figure out what he just said.
Right. No. But even when I'm not drunk, I can still talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can
You don't
text
say.
No, not you, Carlos.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I know I always have an opinion about something in life.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a word for chatty that rhymes with Carlo? I'll have to, because it can't be chatty Cathy.
Is there?
I'll do some research.
Think about it. What would y'all do without me chatting as much as I
get some sleep?
Chat more.
No. You would not, because you would be worried about shit.
What would I be worried about?
Oh, come on.
Okay, for the first time.
You're telling me you're worried about me.
My X-Tube would get interrupted less.
For the first time in group history, y'all actually went 2 days without a conversation. 2 days. I'm like, wow, what's wrong?
But see,
he started checking.
I felt that. I kept looking at it going, they have not. Nobody said a word.
Right.
So let me throw something
in here.
Let me
check the obituaries.
Let me check to make sure everybody's okay.
Were you doing what I did last time? Calling fucking Ventop and calling HPD and all the fucking hospitals around the fucking surrounding area.
I was having a rough night.
Mm-hmm.
A rough couple of days. I think I kind of was off everything for a couple of days, and like my phone was off, and like
it wasn't just you. It was no one said anything on group chat for 2 days. No one.
Well, that's what you're saying. The last time I posted a text on group chat, and then like nobody heard from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were like, "Oh, they're picking me up," and I'm like, "Oh fuck."
Please, I'm tired.
Oh, he didn't even answer.
Just call. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
just call. What? They don't know.
Right, exactly. Just call.
Just call.
We call a shitload of people.
Just call his friend.
I call Chris. I call
Elliot.
I call White. I call
Hendrix and Singh
Marcus,
and David White and Randy
and Joe and Randy
and Pinky.
This sexy guy at the
Pinky.
No, I'm not talking about you.
Oh, you said sexy guy, so I figured you were calling me.
No, you're not the only sexy guy in the world. Some sexy guy I know in the police department.
Oh, okay. I used to know a sheriff.
I've known several police officers.
One of his tactics for like get with me was like, oh, you get one of these cool spouse badges.
He was on the
if
DL.
we're dating.
He had just broken up with. Well, he divorced his wife because of his sexuality and whatnot, but he was still on the DL pretty much because nobody knew, and he was a police officer.
Nobody knows. Many wonderful years ago, I worked at Half Price Books. We had a police officer who would come in, and
he would service him.
He would just be the night security guard for a little while, and he was 6'7", just a big.
Sorry,
beautiful, just a big.
I know,
beautiful,
spitters or quitters.
Just big, beautiful white man. Just, I love all men, by the way, but he was a white man. He was a beautiful, big, beautiful white man, and he was very straight. But the thing was,
straight looking?
No, he was very straight.
Because there's no such thing as a straight guy that gets into it with other guys.
Okay, well, he and I didn't get into it. I'm trying to tell
you. Okay. So he was actually straight.
But he and I used to talk all the time, and he showed me a picture of his twin brother, who was gay, who was also 6'7".
So they were not fraternal twins; they were identical twins.
They were identical twins, and I went, "Can he put on a police uniform?"
I have a friend who has an identical brother who is pretty hot. Hey, Adrian.
He was.
Well, hot to you, or hot to everybody?
Me? Oh,
yeah, because we don't have the same.
He is very aesthetically pretty. He's a bigger fella, but he wears it really well. He has tons of confidence and like.
I like a big guy who wears it well.
Good features. Perky.
He said perky. We don't even want to know.
But he has an identical brother who is straight. So I'm like, hey. It's like I could have one of you here and one of you here. You're too big to fit in here. You guys ever hear that? You guys have seen, what is it? What's the name of that movie now? Now I can't think of it. Oh, The Sweetest Thing.
Oh, The Sweetest. I used to like that.
That fucking movie.
That movie rocked. I know a lot of people did not care for that movie.
It's because it was so like.
But I love Christina Applegate so much. I could watch her in anything.
And Cameron Diaz is fucking funny.
Yeah, Cameron Diaz is funny. Her. She's so funny.
I'll be honest. I mean, I watched it twice. Not the big fan of it. But
okay,
I can watch it again.
And I understand that it was not like one of the best movies you will ever see ever, but it's so cute and it was so funny, and I loved it. Little Selma Blair,
right?
With the oh my goodness!
Albert got stuck in her throat.
Can you? I don't.
And the gay guys, he's like behind the tonsils. Because they're like, how did she get stuck? And he's like, behind the tonsils.
I've heard that one before. I've had people working in the medical field who
what are they singing?
That happens.
Oh my god.
She had to sing a song to relax her throat.
Right. She was singing it and she was like, oh my gosh, now I gotta know.
Like,
I can't remember.
That is so funny.
Yeah, we're about to go into hour 15. So I think we might need to take a break.
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break so we can finish.
We'll have to answer that question as to what song that is when we get back.
Okay.
Because when we get back, we're going to talk about the opposite of things that irk us and the things we do to kind of chill, mellow our.
Well, first of all, you already solved the whole credit card issue earlier When I told you how they double charge on Uber Eats.
Right, but we're talking about like when you get hot, how you get unhot.
Oh,
Your
Jerking off?
your your personal woosah.
mhm.
You know,
Your personal woosah. Okay. Let's take a break.
et cetera, et
Ahorita
cetera, et
regresamos.
cetera.
We'll be right back. And we are back. We're going to finish out the last half of this episode, or last third. Why do I always say last half? Last third of this episode, which we are having fun with.
Hockey rules.
Mm-hmm.
Last third.
Last third. I was actually going to say this in the second half of the show, but I think I'm going to throw it out here now. About the one thing that does irk me just a little bit. I am 52 years old. And
I thought you were 40.
oh, thank you. Mm-hmm.
See, I told you it before.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to stop stealing my besitos, please. That's my thing.
Okay,
You get your
fine.
own.
Oh,
That
shit.
irks me.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
You know how we're gonna fix it? You need to stop.
You need to stop, bitch. You need
No,
to
just
stop.
kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. Well, it seems like throat punching is how
Mhm.
Carlos
Ooh.
resolves the issues that irk him.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
When I tell you that I have a problem or an issue, and then you look back at me and go, I'm sorry, but you are 50-some years old. You should know better. That's not solving. You're not helping me solve anything except telling me that I feel foolish and stupid because I'm
you know
of a
why
certain
people
age.
do that? Because
Mhm.
people of a certain age usually come back with, and usually coming from a younger person.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes this happens, and I'll put it to you this way: to a certain extent, when you did the whole thing about the grown-up table versus the kiddie table, it made some of us feel, and I say some of us because I know I'm not the only one. I'm the only one saying it. But it made a certain amount of people to say, "Oh, we're grown-ups. We're at this level, and you are at this level." And I'm like, "Really, motherfuckers?" Because if we put in the table, if we put in the table who we are, what we are, and where we are in life, the millennials can bring it just as much, even possibly heavier than some of the lost generation. And so of course when
she
you
says throwing shade,
right?
The lost
And
generation.
then you say, "Oh my God, I'm having trouble," and my first reaction will be look back at you and say, "Bitch, didn't you say you have wisdom because you're older? Bring it to the table, bitch." And so that's where I would probably bring
in
that
response
out.
to that, Joel. I have to say that I believe you have said to me like, "You are 32 years old." You or like,
and not just you.
You are 34 years old.
Between you, Joel, and you, Joel, because you're Joel. Between you, David, and Chris and Elliot, have kind of mentioned even before the three intellectuals out of the rest of us, right? And I'm like, we can give you a run for your money. We sure can. But at the same time, I get it. Y'all are older. Y'all have gone through life a little bit longer, and I get it. Because if I were to look at a 20-year-old, I would probably be like,
I generally look
and
at a 20-year-old and say, please tell me I wasn't that stupid. And then I think to myself, like,
true.
Yeah, I was that stupid.
I was that stupid.
But
and that's okay. It's just that, you know.
But here's the funny thing. Here's the irony of the grown folks table. Is that the grown folks table spent more time talking about themselves and their issues and what they're going through right now than they did talking about. Well, like I said, in that entire episode, I think we talked about you guys for 2 seconds at the end. We made a little joke about a shovel, and that was the end of it. But for the most part, that entire episode was really about me talking to the older folks and helping them understand that as long as you are a human being walking upright on this planet, you always gonna have issues, you always gonna have problems, and people just need to listen. And when you sometimes talk, especially when we talk to each other, and the other person goes, "Girl, you are something age. You should know better by now." Bitch, I'm coming to you with a problem, and that's what you can say. That's all you can say. If you don't have nothing to say, don't say nothing.
Yeah,
right.
Just
if you can't be supportive,
if you can't be supportive,
it could be just your own self. Because I know for a fact that my worst critic is myself. So sometimes I'm like, "Fuck, I'm already 38. I'm about to be 40 in 2 years, and I don't have this or that together." that's normal. I mean, it happens. But I guess it's because a lot of times y'all lead with the fact that y'all are older, more mature. And so whenever you throw something like that out, I can already see somebody saying, well,
but that's
just
ingrained in our culture. It's
Yeah,
like,
it is also,
and unnecessarily, I think.
True.
Older people take this moral high ground or this intellectual high ground and whatnot. And so it just is a reflex for somebody older to say, oh, grow up. Or you're this old and you're dealing with that. It's like, yes, after you're 18, you're grown. It's
exactly.
Like, you have issues
you may not
until
be mature,
the day,
but you're grown.
until.
But even then, I've met 45-year-olds that
even if you are
were
mature,
not mature,
maturity doesn't mean you're not going to go through stuff in your life.
No, I know.
And
sometimes
it's
you're
just
so,
in our nature because we hear it from our parents and our older relatives.
It's
and
cultural.
People,
you said
it's
it right.
This whole thing is like, oh, you get to a certain age and suddenly your issues that happen in life don't happen anymore. It's like issues
the first
happen
thing,
in life,
and
now, people arrive at different points in their life. Is different.
Now, how you fix that is number one. Understand your weaknesses and your strengths, and work with those. Also, the other thing is, if you're going to put it out there for people to know, people are going to give you your opinion. They're not they may not tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to you have to accept the fact they're going to give you your opinion, their opinion. I'm sorry, and that it is okay. Whatever opinion that may be, shouldn't allow you to get upset or feel a certain type of way.
Okay, my opinion on that is respect that opinion more.
There you go.
If your friends are only ever reconfirming and like telling you you're right, those people are not
necessarily your friends.
They're not your friends.
No,
they're not looking out for your best interest because they aren't looking at what's best in general. They are a yes man. They just want to keep you happy. They just want to they don't want to upset you, so they're not being honest with you. They can't agree. Nobody can agree with anyone all the time. Like, so if they have a difference in opinion
and to
in
be
anything
honest,
and they're always agreeing with you, they're lying to you.
Yeah, I would like a friend to tell me things the way they are, not the way I want to hear them, because that might take me out of my trance or my blindsidedness.
Right.
Because sometimes you get narrow-minded. Especially when you have a problem, you don't see anything outside of what's right in tunnel vision. You get tunnel vision, you can't see anything around, you don't think of options. Those options don't even make sense. Right. So sometimes you need somebody from outside to say, look, this way.
And those people, the ones who will tell you shit that you don't want to hear, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you're wrong. And those people are your real friends. Those people are looking out for you. Somebody who just doubles down on some wrong concept or keeps encouraging you. Just because they don't want to, because they can't agree because they disagree with your.
Let me throw this in here. On the Grown Folks episode, and I think David said this best. He said that the closer someone is to you, the least likely they are to listen. And I said that is the truest statement on the planet, with the exception of the fact of is that if they hear you, they really do hear you,
right?
But they just sometimes they just go, oh, this bitch, she just saying that just to be saying that, blah, 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 blah. But when you hear it from somebody else, and then that same bitch is like, girl, I told you that last week.
Right. Exactly.
And you have to remind them.
It's different because you don't know whether that person is just placating you or like
there's somebody in my
you.
family that I always tell this person, hey, I see this is going to go this way. I can usually forecast based on what's going on as to where this is going to go. And for whatever reason, I'm always, I would say like maybe 92, 95% correct. And so, of course, when I say it, it's like whatever, right? But then she goes, or this person goes to her shrink, and then I don't know where the shrink tells, because of course she goes and tells her shrink, well, my brother said blah, 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 blah. And of course, she says, well, he's right.
Right.
And then, of course, he starts talking into her.
I got one now. You want to know something that irks me?
Okay.
And are we going to be able to solve this issue?
And yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, we'll put
something that irks me is when, you happen to, something, and you know it to be fact or true or correct, and like, somebody questions the validity of that statement
Mm-hmm.
and uses like, do you have a degree in that? I was like, well, no, I don't have a degree in that. Well, and it's like, what does having a degree have to do with knowing like
I love
something about something?
I love when
It
people say
depends.
that.
It depends.
It's like,
I
for
do.
fuck's sake.
I
I
love
know.
when people say, "Well, do you have a degree in that?" I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I needed a degree in
To
stupidity to know that.
To know
I
that.
know what
No,
I'm talking
the
about,
only
and I
time-
have sources
yeah.
for that. So
Right.
don't
Exactly.
tell me I don't
It's
know
like
what I'm
the
talking
information
about.
is out there.
It's
You can
just-
know something
and
without having a
a lot of
degree in
times
it.
it depends on because let me tell you, I don't think I've ever thrown that question out there,
Mm-hmm.
but I will question what you are saying
Yeah,
based on
exactly.
who you are.
Well, right, and what your
Because
perspective,
if you're
where you're
just some
getting your
idiot
information
that likes
from.
to talk random shit
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't really know what they're talking about, then I would probably not. You're not credible to me, so I am definitely going to question you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But like for
Or
example,
question your sources.
or question your sources.
Right.
But if I know who you are and I know what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably not question it.
It's like as
um,
if it's impossible to learn anything without,
Right.
you know.
Now, the thing I do question about credentials and who you are and I'll give you an example. I think last time one of our audiences got a little upset because of a specific topic and you wanted to bring a specific somebody to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, if we're going to bring experts and we're going to bring, and at this point in time, we're going to bring something to validate what we're talking about, it better be experts. It better be somebody with credentials, because otherwise we're just having another person giving their damn opinion just like us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only time I would, and I'm not saying that this person doesn't have or know what they're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because this person is very eloquent and I actually appreciate and like him a lot. And he, for what I see, he has wisdom, and when he rarely says anything, but whenever he's ready to say something,
He has
he's on
something to
point.
say. Yeah.
Yeah. But based on where we're going with it, I'm
Mhm.
like, if it's not something with the right credentials,
Mhm.
I'd rather not even.
Well, I mean, that
Get into it.
conversation, no
Right.
one,
Right.
everybody's just expressing an opinion, and
Right.
there's nothing wrong with expressing
Right,
an
right.
opinion.
Right. And
So that's where I
Mhm.
was concerned, and that's the only time
Mhm.
I would probably say no, unless we have a
Mhm.
true expert, like you're saying that you
Mhm.
had somebody that it is some type of a life coach or something like that.
Mhm.
I would be okay. That's perfect,
Mhm.
because now we have somebody that can validate with credentials
Mhm.
if we're going to go in and fight our opinions
Mhm.
or the validity
there-
of our opinions.
I would say that there's no fighting anyone's opinion.
no,
Mm-mm.
but we were gonna respond, and in that scenario, I would have preferred for somebody that has the right avenue. I don't want it to be a back and forth about opinions,
Right,
because it's not
and
gonna
I don't-
get us anywhere.
Right. I think I know the situation that you're talking about. I don't think we were looking at it head on. I think the question was really like, okay, that we talked about some of those things.
Right.
We may have, said something that may have led somebody to believe that we were talking about something factually.
Right.
And it ended up getting a little bit emotional.
Mhm.
And it's like, but the show is primarily about our feelings. We very seldomly,
Mhm.
throw
Talk
facts
about
out there.
Mhm.
Because I won't say that we aren't experts.
Mhm.
I mean, we are definitely experts on life.
We're experts at conversation. That's for
Experts in our
Mhm.
own shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
Mhm.
I'm the expert on Pinky,
Mhm.
and that's what we bring to the table. It's like,
Mhm.
sociology, psychology, economics,
Mhm.
business.
Jack of all trades, but master of none. And that's
but
fine. And if you
better-
can bring it to the table, that's fine. But
But better than the
Mhm.
master of one
Mhm.
is actually
Right.
the way that phrase.
Mhm.
You very
I get
seldomly hear the end of it, but
Mhm.
it is Jack of all trades, master of none, but often better than a master of one.
Mhm.
Which means they normally come in handy more often
Mhm.
than the guy who only has
Sure.
one skill that he
Yeah,
is-
exactly.
knows every single thing about.
Mhm.
And that wasn't me. I'm not saying that I know those things. I'm just saying, like, in general, any person.
Mhm.
It's like, it's possible for a person to know something
Mhm.
without having, a degree in that.
Mhm.
Right.
It's like,
I mean, I know
that irks me.
I know how to build a shelf, but I'm not a carpenter.
Right.
So, I mean, I honestly do know how to build a shelf.
Right.
I'm just too damn lazy to build a shelf.
And it would be like, for me, like,
And first of all, where
you know.
would I build a shelf?
It's like I
Um,
can use tools, but
Mhm.
it's just one of those things that
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna cut my finger off or I'm
Mhm.
gonna bruise myself or I'm gonna fuck something up and then I'm gonna have to pay anyways. So,
Right.
Well, I
or
grew.
something like
Mhm.
one day it took me like maybe a week to put like 3 blinds.
I mean, I grew up
this
with.
guy.
I grew up with a jack of all trades. He did
Well, I did
carpentry. He
too,
did
but
furniture. He did electrical.
like
He
I
did do
catch
electrical that
everything.
well, and we told him never to do that again. But
See, and those
You
are a
can
couple
only
things
put-
I won't touch.
you could only put electrical tape on so many things. That's
True.
lesson learned. You can only put electrical tape on so many things.
Right. So I think we're running into like the edge of each of these segments before we actually attack them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about things that we use to get our chill on, to like cool down or like bring the
It's simple.
tension down.
For me, it's simple. Weed and anime. That's
Weed
it.
and anime.
Read an anime.
Weed
Look at
and
that.
anime. Me sitting in front of a TV, smoking some weed. I got my savory, my sweet, my salty, and maybe like a little.
And your dry throat.
And my dry throat, of course, because I have to have my drink. And my drink is usually some iced tea because I love my iced tea.
He's talking about vitamin.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
Oh.
I was talking about cat and mouth
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
from the weed.
From the weed.
Oh.
So yes.
Oh, you get that?
No, I get a little bit of cat and mouth. That's
Well,
why I have to
just
have
keep
my
in
iced
mind
tea.
that I don't smoke it, so I don't know.
It's
how
something
that
that
works.
happens. Like I've
Mhm.
smoked it in the past and gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's just
Yeah.
one of the
Just dries
side
out
effects
your-
of it. It's
yeah.
one of the things. One of the reasons that I didn't
Mhm.
ever get into smoking it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got cotton mouth.
Yeah, it's like bad dry mouth.
Yeah.
No, thank
It
you.
doesn't happen to everybody. Everybody's a little different.
Oh, okay.
And
But
it's
I like to have my.
Scaring me.
I also get chat.
Mm-hmm.
Not
you
that
know.
I.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I asked because I'm not
And
a
then I-
user, so
Mhm.
I'm very
Right.
ignorant about those things.
And
I'm not a user either.
and that
So,
allows
no.
me some quiet time.
My
to
20s
chill.
were full of.
When you spend a lot of time. Now I spend time on the podcast talking about people. Then I'm in front of people 6 to 7 days a week, and I have to deal with all the stuff that people. Oh my god, that people throw at you on a daily basis.
Right.
From the people that you work with to the people that you have to take care of. And these people throw some stuff at you that's just so ridiculous.
Don't I
Yeah.
know it?
So when you
Fucking
want
A.
to calm down and just get away from it, that's what I do.
Like, what do you do to decompress, Carlos?
Mm-hmm.
Usually I do meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I also do acupuncture. I do singing, although of course I'm not a singer, but I will put the songs that kind of get me out of it. There's a couple of, I guess, CDs,
Mm-hmm.
like Mariah Carey,
Mm-hmm.
Marta Sanchez. There's a couple of singers that have those songs that talk to me
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and make me feel like,
So when you're
I'm-
angry,
I'm-
do you like to listen to something that's a little bit more passionate, a little bit more angry, or something that's a little bit more soothing?
a little bit more, like I'm able to scream.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So like
big
me,
voices
like,
where
if I'm mad and like, because for me it's like when I'm mad and when I'm pissed, like one, I used to love driving, so like if I'm pissed off, I'm in a bad mood, like I'm putting on the Rob Zombie, putting on the Stone Temple Pilots, and like kind of just like
Yeah.
rock music.
right.
I'm all
Um,
about.
But I'm more
I'm all
like
about some-
diva
Mhm.
voices type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, when I used to
But power.
Uber,
Mm-hmm.
talking to people and driving used to help a lot with the stress.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's kind of funny, but my stress usually comes out of making sure that my deadlines are met.
Mm-hmm.
That to a certain extent, part of my job is to be the police at work.
Mm-hmm.
So that can get a little stressful,
Mm-hmm.
especially when, sometimes also there's the bad cop, good cop type of thing, and I'm tend to
Mhm.
be the bad cop most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is a little stressful. And just
Mhm.
driving around when I used to Uber,
Mm-hmm.
and just talking to random people about stuff would get me off the
Right.
edge of stress.
Hearing they've got shit going on too, or
Mhm.
like just getting your mind off of what
Yeah.
you got going on.
And I think you see me at home. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I need to go meditate for a little while, and I just put either singing bowls or
Mhm.
a little bit of guided meditation, and within 10-15 minutes, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm relaxed.
Oh, that's
And they do. I mean,
And I
iTunes
do.
and a lot of YouTube channels have a lot of those guided meditation.
Oh, I use
tracks
YouTube for
to use.
all meditation crap.
Yep.
And I actually even follow a couple of other people that do meditation. I can't remember their names. They do like hypnosis and stuff like that. I love that stuff. Even astral projection and so on. I love that. And of course, the other thing is that, and I think it has helped me, especially with, the whole becoming a photographer in the last couple of years. A lot of positive affirmation in vibration and making sure that I am grateful for everything I have, and I don't linger or what's that other word? I don't dwell on the things that I don't, and so on. That helps a lot.
I like to when I'm super stressed or I'm angry or what have you, I throw on some house music.
Oh yeah.
I strip down to my boxer briefs and a t-shirt, and I just dance around the house.
I'm glad
I dance for hours.
I will dance like nobody is watching.
I will
me.
dance for hours. And
That's funny.
And
I've done that before.
I don't even want to see my reflection when I'm doing it because
you don't know how.
Because I look a hot mess, I'm sure.
And I have woken up the next day just sore all over, but it feels so good.
When you're doing it, like, just to, like, have to take a breath and you get to, like, your body forces you to take those deep breaths that you need.
I live on the second floor, so I will open up the curtain and I will just dance. And if people have been looking in, it's a disco in here. I'm having a good time, and
I've done that before, but I don't get to do it often because I've never lived alone. So I really can't say that I have done that a lot. But there has been times where I have cleaning to do, and I put my type of music all the way up, and I'm just dancing, screaming, and you name it, and cleaning, and that helps me energize.
When you live on the second floor and you have to think about your neighbor downstairs, you have to learn. I had to learn how to dance in a way that I can still blow off some aggression without stomping my feet or anything else. So I actually, and this is going to sound funny to some people. I actually use the high heel method when I dance. I actually raise my feet
so
up off the ground, so I'm not stomping. So I'm on my tippy toes, and I have I will be just fine for the rest of my life. I have excellent balance. I can move my body in ways that.
Well, let me tell you, I've seen a lot of 50-year-olds that look a lot. Let me tell you something. Well, and it's funny because I always use that word. It's something that I find a little weird is that, and of course, maybe this is because of my age as I'm getting older, I'm getting younger following. If you're 20-something and you look my age, keep in mind that, I'm 38 and I'm overweight. And I'm pretty much going bald because for the most part, I'm already bald. And
I was like, going, girl. That's gone.
Yeah, no, the whole top of my hair is gone, but I still have hair on the sides. So my whole thing is, if it's kind of crazy to me that you're 20-something and you're looking
that's my thing. Like, people will ask me, it's like,
am.
They'll say, "Wow, you don't look your,
Yeah.
I don't look my age, and I don't think I look my age. I see people who are my age.
People will be able to tell my age, but I don't think nobody has ever said that I look older than what I am.
Right. That's definitely not.
I always
not
get
happened.
you're 30 what? No, that's not true. So,
and it's like my number two pieces of advice for people who are interested in that is like having zero fucks to give. How anyone else thinks about the way you live your life.
True.
And soap with lots of mint.
That is true. That is true. Especially the soap with a lot of mint.
Yeah, actually, I've been
C.O. Bigelow mentholated body soap scrubs.
God.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
God. Your skin is taking a deep breath.
I wanted to ask you about that body wash with, what is it? Hyaluronic?
Hyaluronic oil? Or acid. Hyaluronic acid.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you about that.
The cactus water?
Because I love, well, first of all, the smell is freaking great.
The cactus water?
Yes, and it makes, I
you should smell the rose water
because I actually grabbed the wrong bottle. And so I washed with that and I'm like, this is not mine. Because I have one that has rosemary and a couple of other herbs, and it's more of a scrub than anything else.
Right.
And
Sage
it smells,
and eucalyptus.
it's sage, and it smells the same as his. But I didn't get that fresh sensation in my body, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that."
You know,
They discontinued the one I used to use.
I can't use a lot of scents in my soaps because of my skin.
And that's why the mentholated, the CO
But
Bigelows, they're very...
But the menthol and anything with mint, it just makes my skin. I just feel like, as soon as I get out of the shower, I'm
it's
just
like your whole body is breathing. It's fucking amazing.
I just feel, I'm like, girl, I can tackle the day. Let's go.
When I'm out in the garage and it's like 95 degrees outside and I've got like sawdust stuck to my face and like I feel like garbage, like it helps me cool down considerably. Like I'll just go and I'll wash my face.
And I will tell you, and I'm going to throw this in here real quick. If you have super sensitive skin like I do not get anything that says scented. It needs to have, it needs to have the
lots of
opulence.
free and clear products out there.
There's a Mexican product called Sote, COTE. And it's a big old huge bar of soap. That usually in Mexico, when you don't have, like, for people that don't have money to buy, like the things to wash a womb or whatnot, they recommend that soap. It really has no.
It's like our dial.
Yeah. So I use that to shower in.
Because it's a really good cleaner.
It's a really good cleaner.
Because some of those with the scents and the oils, you leave those behind. Whereas something like that gives you a fresh palette to start off with.
Usually I use that to only certain parts of my body. And then of course I use the scented stuff for the rest of.
So Sote starfish soap.
Starfish soap. Yeah, that sounds good.
No, it's just called Sote, and it comes either in pink.
It's for your starfish
or white. But I do wash my starfish and other things.
All right. Well, gentlemen.
But hold on. Oh, sorry.
We only have a few short minutes.
More minutes.
Just a few short minutes.
Pinky, what do you do to relax? Because you haven't mentioned anything yet.
Other than like driving, I used to drive. Not driving as much these days anymore. / tag at all. But drawing has always been like a thing of mine. Lots of turmoil as a kid, and drawing has been a go-to since I was probably 5. In the middle of the night, my parents used to wake up and I'd be drawing on the wall. That was also before they knew I could speak, and that's how they found out I could speak, because I was having full conversations to myself while I was drawing on the walls in the middle of the night, but I wouldn't talk to anybody during the day. Very recently, I have sort of picked up talking to people. As kind of a relief, a mind dump kind of thing. Playing pool has been a long time one as well. Drawing, creating though, in general. The carpentry has facilitated some of that, as an outlet emotionally to okay, I need to do something, I need to win, I need to create something to take away this inefficiency or this loss that I've, gone through, and that didn't work. Fuck it. I need to do something that works that's gonna, I need to create.
Actually, that's what I was going to say. For the most part, it sounds like you need to create.
Yeah, and whether it's photography or drawing or anything like that, it's and my brain wants to express certain things in different ways all the time, and, I recently, drew, I couldn't even tell you what it is. It's very abstract, but it's kind of like where my thoughts are, and it's very scattered and tangled up and neat looking.
Oh, that thing you posted on Instagram?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram.
I saw it.
It's kind of just
that's Pinky Mao. Yeah. Pinky
Mouse.
Underscore?
Yeah, Pinky underscore MAU5 underscore 85.
Oh, you use the is that are they techno mouse?
No.
MAU.
Oh, mouse. Dead Mouse is.
Like Dead Mouse, yes.
But it's a 5 instead of.
Okay.
Because it's from the plate from my old car.
Oh, okay.
Because one of my nicknames used to be Mighty Mouse. And so I took Pink Panther and Mighty Mouse and kind of conjunctified them.
Look at that.
And why did they call you Mighty Mouse? Did they call you Mighty Mouse
Because
upright or
I was
in a certain area of the
just anywhere?
I
was just kind of a hero to them. So,
Interesting.
That's cute.
a savior of sorts, kind of saving them
Oh,
from.
Lord, don't go down the Savior Road. I've been down that road.
Don't go. Yeah. If anyone's calling you their savior or,
They need to stop.
or hero, they're investing a little bit too much. You're
exactly.
a little too close. Be a support.
I'm a caregiver and I'm a supporter, but I'm not your hero.
Right. It's like, we've gotten to an unhealthy, codependency leg in the road. And it's like, it's not bad to depend on people. It's not bad to say like, oh my God, you're my hero and be somebody's hero in the moment. But like, at the point somebody's calling me their hero and whatnot, it obviously, turned into an unhealthy situation.
That's true. But we're gonna.
Oh well, Joe,
1 hour and 45. 1 hour 40. We are 1 hour 45.
All right. So we're like right on time for like an extra little 15 minutes.
All right.
Enjoy it, y'all. You got all of it and then some.
Right.
But I think we're ready to go. So
we're ready to go. But Joel, where can we find you on social media?
Okay. You can always find me on my Facebook page, Joel Tatum. Which, by the way, I rarely post on there. But every now and then, if I get a wild hair, I might post like a picture or something
of said wild hair. Okay. You can also find me on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, Joel Tatum. Of course, you can always find the show on Instagram as well, and as on Facebook. And any other social media.
And any other social media. And if you're listening if you don't know where to listen to us, I don't understand how you're listening to us in the first place. All the stuff, iTunes, we're on all that. So
we want to show our love for those platforms that put us out there. So we're on iTunes, Spreaker, which is our main platform.
Which we love.
iHeartRadio has now, really recognized us under our new banner.
We are on Deezer. We're on Podcast. We're on Castbox.
We're just about any of the ones that anywhere.
Apple Podcasts, all that stuff.
If you're going to reach out to us, make sure you let us know who you want to talk to, because sometimes whenever you send a message, we don't know who you are.
We're working it out. We're drawing straws.
But we won't know who you're trying to get in contact with or who
we're doing,
question.
Every other week and every third Sunday kind of custody battle here with the social media accounts, because we're all divas and no, he's talking to me.
Well, I do spend a little bit more time on our Twitter page than I do the other pages, simply because one, there's some interesting pictures.
I think it's more
and two,
Pinky and I on on Instagram than anything else.
Right.
And then Facebook is kind of like everybody
just does their thing.
Does their thing. And in all reality, all I do is pictures whenever we have them.
And when I'm riding the bus or what have you, I'm on Twitter just checking out what's going on in the world and throwing something in there every now and then and that kind of thing. So
there you go.
And now, actually, you can find us on Reddit as
well.
Oh,
we're on Reddit.
That's the one I can
We have to promote Reddit more because I've had it now for a little bit, and I've done this. We've done like 3 or 4 episodes, but we always forget to talk about Reddit.
Right, we're still working it out. I think we can. Once we get a little bit more going on here with the actual physical, logistical arrangement here in the studio, we'll be able to kind of like do things live with folks. Because I feel like Reddit would be a better forum to do live kind of chat and questioning from online, from like.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you want us to call you and interact with us a little bit, just let us know and give us your phone number. Of course, do it
right. If you're free on a Wednesday,
put your phone number out there for everybody.
Yeah, just let us know.
But just let us know, and we can always
follow, recommend us to your friends.
And I'm thinking that probably, and we've been saying this for months, and I'm sorry, we have been saying it for months, but the New Year's coming up. Pinky and I will have it 100% done. We will have a Patreon page that you can come to. We will have stuff to offer to our listeners if you support the show, that kind of stuff. We will have this done.
And but what we're working on before we do that is the content that you guys are going to get by pledging support. So we're collecting that now so that you're have something worthwhile. Our messiest.
The things that didn't air.
Exactly.
Uncut footage.
And it gets crazy, y'all.
It does get crazy.
We get into arguments. Also, if you need your picture taken, please let me know. You can find me at CV Photography 0 on Instagram. On Facebook, just my name, Carlos Villegas.
Mhm.
And my personal Instagram page is CVIOLE20035,
Mhm.
which is the same as my Twitter.
Mhm.
Although I really don't do Twitter much other than other stuff. But contact me if you want.
Well, we gotta call it a day. This is the longest episode in the history of our show. I've enjoyed it.
Not the longest recording session because we've gone all the way through an episode and realized we weren't recording any of it, and then had to record another one. But this is the longest one content wise that you guys have ever done.
Yeah.
We have had to throw some
where we did a fantastic episode, and then we're like,
the last
And wouldn't that
and then
be
I went
the
over to
fucking
the
20
luck?
minutes.
and then I went over to the computer, and it was gone, and we had to start all
That's
over
right.
again.
When we were talking about the chicken.
Oh.
Yes, that's
But now that we have new
But yeah.
recording equipment, we don't have to
and
worry
then we
about
had to
that
throw
anymore.
a couple away.
Alrighty, y'all.
We started
If you ain't gonna be
yesterday.
good, be
Be
good at
good
it.
at it.
Besitos.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.